Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of VENDO Velocity. We're super happy that you decided to join us today and appreciate you being here. I'd love to introduce two of our newer guests to the podcast. This is their first time, so hope everybody makes them feel welcome. But before we get started on what the topic is today and going through and meeting these Walmart teammates of ours, if this is your first time joining VENDO Velocity, it is your live weekly podcast in which we talk about the latest platform and strategy updates across Amazon, Walmart.com, and TikTok Shop. So for the focus of today, we're going to be diving into Walmart beauty and a little bit more of the premium beauty space at Walmart. And we'll also discuss some of the synergies and differences compared to Amazon. So this topic has a special place in my heart. I actually started my career on the beauty team at Walmart and now get to talk to the VENDO teammates who are leading a lot of our beauty business. So without further ado, Amber, I'll start off with you. If you can give a little bit of intro to yourself and just what types of brands you're managing here at VENDO.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Delaney. I'm so excited to be on the podcast today. Like you said, my name is Amber Lenington, and I am a Walmart.com account strategist here at VENDO. I've been here for just around 2.5 years, specializing in the beauty and personal care space, primarily skincare, hair care, everything beauty and personal care, and then recently branching into consumables like baby and pet as well, which closely aligns with what Walmart is kind of doing internally as well. So really, really excited to be here.
Awesome. Excited to have you here, Amber. Hayden, why don't we go to you next?
Yeah, also an account strategist here, been here for about 1.5 years. Started my career more in the tool space and then made my way to food and OTC. And then since I've been at VENDO, it's been all beauty. So similarly to Amber, a lot of the shampoo, conditioner, skincare, shave, all of the personal care beauty needs.
There we go. All right. Well, we love fun facts here. So I'm actually going to give you guys a fun fact about both Amber and Hayden that I know personally about them. Amber's biggest fun fact is that she has a dog that looks exactly like my dog, and golden retrievers are the best dogs that you can have. So if you don't have one and you need a little bit of TLC, go get a golden retriever. And then Hayden can probably run faster than both of our dogs combined. So that's his fun fact, is that he can run crazy distances and do that very fast. I don't know. He probably could have run the 5K that we all ran as a company like 3 times over by the time I finished, but that's enough with the fun facts. Let's dive into the beauty space. So Amber, I'll kick it off with you here. I want to just take a step back and really discuss why Walmart beauty is important. What does it look like in stores? How did its .com presence grow? Can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, absolutely. Walmart beauty is definitely an exciting space to be right now. There's such a focus on it for kind of a ton of reasons, which we're going to get into the different like white spaces and things in a little bit. But historically, beauty at Walmart has definitely been legacy brands that have been around for a long time, lowest price point available. Of course, EDLP, as we know, is Walmart's number one value. But there are a few different ways and places to shop beauty in stores. And we know Walmart's.com business is very supplemental and reliant to what's happening on stores or on shelves in Walmart stores. So obviously the cosmetics and personal care space and aisles can be shopped there. There are also a beauty finds set, which is now an end cap that features new and exciting brands at some entry price point levels as well. And then there's a natural set as well, which is a huge focus for Walmart: sustainability, clean beauty, natural beauty products, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what's happening in the store landscape of beauty. There has definitely been a shift with this focus just in getting products to Walmart shoppers, accessibility to for beauty products. So Hayden, I can kind of let you step in and talk that space and like where the need lies, but yeah.
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head there. Walmart traditionally has been known for kind of your essentials at a decent price point. It hasn't really been known as an extravagant place to go. That's where you have your Ultas, your Sephoras, your smaller stores. And so obviously Walmart's huge with the omnipresence. And so in the last few years, especially, they've put a lot of different initiatives behind it. From a store perspective, you have in aisle activations, such as like the glow up events that they do, that specialize specifically on beauty. And then that obviously segues to online as well. And as we all know, Walmart has been building out the website, where there's additional things that they leverage on site, that they can't really do in stores. But yeah, there's been a lot of diversity and inclusion initiatives that they've been doing, and growing a lot of their sets to be more inclusive, and diverse. So it's been a lot of good changes in the last just couple of years.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I want to talk a little bit more about those demographics, because I think there is a common misconception that, maybe the Walmart consumer just skews older, and really the beauty consumer specifically at Walmart is a woman in that older demographic. But from what we've seen lately and what you guys are speaking about here, they really are trying to capture the Gen Z and millennial consumer with some of these newer brands that they are even testing out in stores in certain circumstances. So can you talk a little bit about, from a marketing standpoint and just overall, and how that shift has looked even in the last year or so? What sorts of things have you seen that really showcase that that Walmart is trying to lean a little bit younger with the consumer that they are trying to attract?
I think off the bat on my head, and Amber, you can speak to this too. The assortment that they have to offer is huge. Obviously, they're bringing in brands that cater to the tween market. We know that the demographic shopper at Walmart is in their mid 40s, making about 70K a year. Obviously, segueing to premium, that changes a little bit, but the brands that they're putting a lot of the dollars behind and launching has been definitely leaning down in age. And so that's keeping them relevant from what the rest of the industry is seeing, and offering a lot of that different assortment that caters specifically to those demographics there. There's a lot more that they've been doing from like an activation and marketing standpoint, as far as like different things that they've leveraged on site, different like Walmart broad marketing initiatives that they've done as well. But yeah, Amber, anything that you have additionally to that?
Yeah, no, I think you covered it. My initial thought immediately was also the brands. The things that the merchants are looking for in suppliers is definitely Gen Z, Gen Alpha, the younger age demographic, and for parents that are shopping for that age as well. So I definitely think assortment wise, I think when you're on site, there's a ton of focus on what's trending, what's viral, that kind of thing as well. So I think that shift from necessity more to like what's happening right now. What are you looking for? What are you seeing on TikTok and Amazon and these other platforms? And how are we going to get you to shop it at Walmart instead?
There we go. I want to talk a little bit about the marketplace too, because I think beauty specifically as a category is a little bit different than some of the other categories when it comes to the marketplace, and when it comes to how you can expand your assortment online. When you think of different shade selections that you can extend to, or maybe different products that you aren't launching in stores but are a better candidate for online, you think of some bundle opportunities. How are you seeing, Hayden, brands get more creative when it comes to expanded selection on the marketplace versus what they maybe list as 1P or in stores?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think there's obviously a lot of different levers that you can pull on the marketplace side than you can from a 1P perspective, not having a specific buyer set in place. You control the retails, you control when you do promos. There are a lot of synergies and connections between the 1P and 3P teams at Walmart. And so a lot of the time it's working with a brand that has a 1P assortment that, to your point, has an extended line that maybe they want to either clearance, test, launch, or just offer for the consumer that they might have 1P on other retailers. So obviously space is king at Walmart. There's only so much you can do on the physical shelf. Luckily, there's a lot of people that can get a few items in, but then they have a lot more that they need to sell. And so that's where they then can look to marketplace, where they control a lot of the different activations. There's the strategic account managers there that you can work with and plan different events, like the glow up event or like seasonal highlights that they do, where your items can be included. So a lot of the time people do use it as a test and learn. Other times it's just to try to get it up, get it selling, see how the Walmart customer interacts with it, put a little bit of dollars behind it with running ads, since you can do that on the platform as well. And then most of the time they try to make that a story into possibly getting it into stores. But if anything, Walmart's expectation is that you have your full assortment online. They want that omni experience, whether you have 1 or 2 items in stores or 20. They want the full lineup that you have to offer at Walmart in general. So whether that is 1P or marketplace, that 3P marketplace aspect adds that additional lever that you can kind of lean on.
Awesome. Amber, I want to get your take a little bit on the trends that we're seeing at Walmart in the beauty category specifically. I remember from my experience on the Walmart beauty team years ago that we would be looking at different fashion shows. We'd be looking forward, like, let's say 6 to 8 months to try and understand, okay, maybe what specific matte lipstick is going to trend at this time. What are the different seasonal shades that we can bring to the table? How can we just bring innovation overall to Walmart? So I want to ask about a couple things. One, how are you seeing merchants kind of engage with some of those newer trends in the space? How are they bringing them up to brands? And then also with more of an emphasis on skincare, another question here, how are you seeing specific cosmetics products maybe change or just take a different direction more towards that skincare type space rather than the makeup space?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot there. I think the first thing that comes to my head is dupe culture. I think that's huge. Things that are trending on TikTok that are premium in the Ulta and Sephora space. I've had a ton of experience with merchants coming to suppliers looking for those type of viral items in a lower price point. A lot of my suppliers are the most invested in the trends and in what's up and coming because it's their business. It's their bread and butter. And so we rely a lot on them as well for what's coming and what's new. And Walmart as well. There's a trust kind of there between the merchants and the suppliers that have been around for a while and in trusting them to bring what's coming. As for us and how we're doing research and what we're looking for, I am on TikTok and social media more than I would like to admit. But I think in the beauty space specifically, that's where we're seeing what's happening, what people are looking for, and where they're looking for it.
No, I think that's a really great point. And I think that's also just a new avenue that a lot of these brands that are trying to launch on TikTok Shop first, maybe they don't have brand recognition, but they are doing really well on TikTok Shop with affiliates. That may open doors for them on somewhere like Walmart because they'll have really that brand presence that they're building on a platform like TikTok Shop. So I think that that's a great point, is that not just looking at the trends at some of these more physical spaces like the fashion shows, etc., but also now that we have the ability to expand on social a little bit more than we did in previous years, that has opened up a whole new avenue into what's trending. You can look at different hashtags in the TikTok Creative Center to understand that better as well. So those are great points there, Amber. I know we want to keep it moving here, so I want to talk a little bit about the most exciting news, which is the launch of premium beauty at Walmart. So a bit of a clap for that. We're really excited. There's been a huge need for this on Amazon specifically. It's huge. You can get elevated brand stores. They build out the premium beauty experience very differently than they do just some of the mass beauty brands, to where it does feel elevated. It does feel premium. There's other features that you have access to. There's other forms of A+ content, etc. So I'm very excited by this, excited for you guys, excited to share differences across our full Vendo team. But Hayden, why don't you talk a little bit about the need for premium beauty at Walmart and what this really means now for brands?
Yeah, it is very exciting. I think, to your point, there has been a need for a while. As we've seen Walmart grow, they keep saying they want it to be a destination for certain things in each department. And so for the beauty shopper, they want to be a destination for all things beauty. And what that means is not just your legacy brands that have been around forever at necessarily an EDLP. We've seen the space grow with, obviously, you have Walmart Plus, more subscriptions, and that kind of leans into a higher income bracket. And so offering these brands an avenue to sell their products on Walmart at an area that they can have that brand recognition and safety and own their brand is huge. So we are seeing it's very fresh. We are seeing they have the ability to gate the brand. And so all of that branding that they have and own and want to sell, they don't have to compete, to sell their products anymore, like we see a lot of the time on these platforms. And then with that as well, they do have brand shops, brand stores, category pages, if you will, that Walmart has curated for them. And then they're also having them play a part with the advertising aspect as well on site. So there's a lot of things that they're going to be doing coming up that we're excited for. We know that there's been a huge emphasis from a site merchandising standpoint with Walmart in the space over the last few years. That's only going to continue to ramp up and segment this section of beauty to grow even further. And hopefully we'll see it kind of segue into stores a little bit as well. As right now, it's primarily a marketplace online initiative, but we do know that the team has been in talks with the buyers and the merchants pretty frequently, as all of Walmart teams usually do. So yeah, it's a very exciting thing.
No, I think that's a great point on the brand gating. That's definitely one of the biggest benefits on Amazon right now is that, a lot of these brands do sell across Amazon in your guys' case, across Ulta, across Sephora, Target. So there are a lot of third-party sellers that may get their product in some way, shape, or form, and the ability to be brand protected at somewhere like Walmart, where you may think that it is a lower price point platform, which again, Amber and Hayden have kind of disproved here today. And I think Walmart is disproving through the evolution of this premium beauty program, just gives brands more confidence that Walmart is really leaning in here and that their customer may be here as well. So Amber, I have a question. I know Hayden said that this was super new, but when it comes to just brand selection, who can be considered here? I'm sure Amazon brands in the premium beauty space are going to be jumping at this opportunity. Do we have any sort of insight into how you could be selected if there's additional costs to being in premium versus mass beauty, et cetera?
Yeah, great question. Because it is so new, we haven't been told. It hasn't been disclosed exactly what the process is for brands being chosen or being selected to be included. We have deducted that there's a certain price point, obviously, that Walmart has deemed premium. And then a lot of those have been legacy brands that have been around, things that have been, let me see, I'm looking at other notes here of how brands are selected. Hayden, I think that's pretty much it. We haven't been told. We're assuming that it's price point, and who's been around the longest. Obviously, Amazon, TikTok virality, that kind of thing. Hayden, any other insights that you have?
Yeah, I think a couple to outline. So there's just a few examples. We have Color Wow, there's Beach Waver, Victoria's Secret's in there, Avene, Sexy Hair. So a lot of these that have been around, like Amber is saying, at a more premium price point compared to what we typically see at Walmart. And so a lot of these brands, because their brand name means so much to them, a lot of them wouldn't come to Walmart as a first choice to sell products without having their brand gated. And so that's a big right. factor of this initiative. And what I think a lot of them chose to lean into Walmart to come with. Otherwise, I'm not sure a lot of them would dive in and do business from a .com only perspective. So a lot of these guys, that obviously the brand name means a lot. So that's a big portion of it. From what we've seen, your price points are anywhere from $20 to $50 on skincare. And then your hair tools can go up to over $200. That's not typically something that you'll see on the shelf, being a higher end item, but we are seeing those online, which we know the omni customer, specifically the .com customer at Walmart, spends more online than they do in store. So that's where I think it's a perfect fit.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. What about from a merchandising perspective? Have they noted anything? I'm sure there's going to be you could pay WMC $500K to do this, that, or whatever. Have they said anything specifically from an activation standpoint on how they're looking to lean in on premium beauty?
Yeah, they started out when they launched, it was on the homepage, which was obviously huge. That's the almighty mecca of where you want to be on Walmart. And so from there's little tile takeovers that have also called out the program And then each brand was given a category page curated by Walmart's team. And so they get white glove service and a little bit of leaning in from the strategic account managers from Walmart, but also other teams that have to do with the site merchandising. And so a lot of those call outs that bring awareness to the program is huge. We know that 99% of shoppers on Walmart usually find their products through search. And so by adding in those tile takeovers or those buttons can kind of help catch their eye to the program with it being so new.
That's a great point. Amber, I want to close on just some initiatives that the beauty category has at Walmart in particular. I know one of the most exciting things for my mom is her beauty box that comes through, and she will FaceTime me whenever she receives it and say, look what I got. You should try X, Y, or Z brand. Is that something that they're still leaning into heavily, like different types of sampling opportunities, or what else has come into the fold there?
Yeah, the beauty box subscription is still alive and well and being pushed just as it always has. As for sampling, that's really kind of in this space are kind of best of the best there. Definitely you can see other initiatives on site that kind of prove, like you were saying, that this is a big push for Walmart. They have, or I guess you'll also start to kind of see more things happening on site, such as like complete the regimen things on PDPs and different types of like activations that will drive you to not only, I'm so sorry, I like lost my train of thought, but essentially, Hayden, why don't you take it over?
Yeah, there's a couple different areas within beauty as a whole. So obviously the beauty box is a huge one. They just sent theirs out a few weeks ago. They have OPD sampling as an option as well. Amber mentioned earlier beauty finds. There's also Walmart Start. That's a program that they put together that's to curate towards kind of indie, new, smaller brands where there's different perks on each one of those, right? So Beauty Finds is a modularized end cap with a $10 or less price point. OPD sampling gets your product in the hands of thousands of people really quickly. Walmart Start has a bunch of different perks from like a financial and a back-end standpoint that helps elevate the brand. So there's a bunch of different areas Walmart's been leaning into within the last few years that help curate the full assortment of beauty and not just your traditional legacy brands or your brand new brands that nobody really knows. They've been doing a really great job at curating towards everybody and finding a good way on how to get the products in the hands of the Walmart customer that might not have had the product before.
Awesome. Well, no better way to end than there. So Amber, Hayden, really appreciate you guys coming on to just educate the rest of our viewers here on Walmart Beauty and specifically the launch of Premium Beauty. We'll have to have you guys back on soon as this all evolves to give us an update on how it's performing, what new features they're launching, and how brands are leaning into it. So really appreciate you both coming on the podcast today, and hopefully you don't mind joining me again after your first time here.
Awesome. Yeah, sounds good, Delaney. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys. Talk to you all soon and see you next Tuesday on Vendo Velocity. Bye, everyone.